What's happening, people? Welcome back to another Scarfey Spurs Talk episode. I'm really looking forward to getting into this one as we preview Manchester City second game week of the 25-26 season and talk all things transfers. Because always with Tottenham, this moves on to some not very good news. There's always stuff going on. I'm currently on holiday with my family in Corsica, France. I didn't plan to host this podcast, but the dramatics of Tottenham in the last few hours, I thought I absolutely must be here. So I'm on my phone, so I hope you can hear and see me okay. But reminder, if you're listening on YouTube, please do like and subscribe. And listen afterwards on the podcast platform. Let us know where you're listening from and drop a 5-star review and a follow if you enjoy. But let's introduce tonight's panel, just two guests for tonight. Firstly, Harry, hope you're keeping well, mate, and can you talk to the people a bit about what you do and who you are?
Oh, hello. This is the second time I've been on here. But yeah, I do YouTube occasionally, like vlogs of the matches. I've started TikTok recently as well. But yeah, most of my videos are just me losing my head over Spurs, as you know, probably get everyone else, to be fair, because yeah, it's a stressful team to support.
It certainly is. I mean, wow, Tottenham never disappoint, do they? But no, thank you, Harry, for giving us your time this evening.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you as well for coming on again. How you doing, mate? And talk to people a bit about what you do.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Good to be back again. Good few times I've been on now. Definitely enjoying coming on. I'm on X a lot. I do a lot more of the behind the scenes stuff when it comes to content creation. That's my domain. But yeah, I like to get my point across as well.
Lovely stuff. We both do some amazing work in different ways. So thank you very much for everything you do, and thanks for giving us your time this evening. Let's get straight into it then. We've got to start by talking transfers. And for those that have do live under a rock, so we're going to start with Eberechi Eze. If people are unfamiliar with what happened, so as we know, Tottenham for several weeks, several weeks, probably been just a couple of weeks, in talks with Palace for Eze, even got to advanced stages. We even got a verbal agreement according to reports, but now here we go from Fabrizio Romano that is going to Arsenal. Harry, can I start with you? How do you feel about this whole situation? Try and sum it up. Does it hurt?
I'm fuming. When I saw that last night, I was like, how can they get a deal done in 2 hours? What's taking us, 3-4 weeks to do? It's a joke. It's all this trying to save a bit of money, 5 million here, whatever it is. It's a joke. Generally, if you'd said to me at the start of the window, what's one player you'd want to sign? I would have said Eze, and I'm sure most people would. Especially when you've got Maddison out of an ACL, Kulusevski's out, which I've just seen earlier, till the end of the calendar year. I tell you what, we're in for a big shock, I think, on Saturday if we don't set up right, because that creative player is sort of what makes things tick. And yeah, no one would have been as good as Eze, and even Gibbs White as well. Missing out on him, missing out on another top quality player in that same position. It's Tottenham now, isn't it? As soon as you think things are going well, play well obviously against Burnley. As soon as you think things are going well, they take it away. It's like we can't have nice things. That's just how it is. It's like, I don't know. I feel like being a Spurs fan, you get more disappointment than you do kind of excitement. But we do get a few nice days every now and again.
Yeah, absolutely spot. I think you summed that up perfectly, better than I could certainly put into words anyway. But looking back on it now, Harry, would you say it's quite predictable? Tottenham take a long time with this deal, fail to get it over the line. Another club comes in and pinches a player of ours that we plan to get.
Yeah, the thing is, if you look at the players we've nearly had over the years, Dybala, Bruno Fernandes, Grealish, there's so many good players that we've missed out on. Like you look at Arsenal as well. Like we're losing our top target to our biggest rival, and like they could only be one player away from winning the league. That could be the player that makes them go on to win the league. So the fact that we're losing him to them as well is a bit more of a kick in the teeth as well. But yeah, it's not good. It's really not good.
It's not at all, is it? It's just incredibly frustrating, and we'll get into a little bit of how I think Tottenham have dealt with this and a little bit more into it. But before I come to you, Aaron, I want to read out of a list of Tottenham Hotspur's high-profile failed transfers, and whether you blame that on, it's up to the individual. But the list here got Dybala, Suarez, Diaz, Fernandes, Jan Martinia, Pereira, David Villa. We got loads: Willian, Hulk, Alvarez, Hazard, Mane, Grealish, Gibbs White, Eze. It's a lot. The last one was Spurs player. In fact, it's a long list of about 20 names. But Aaron, I'll come back to you on Eze in particular. Did you see this coming, an Arsenal late move?
I'd like to say I did see it coming. I didn't, because I was in group chats all week, or for how many weeks it was, in the X group chats. We're all saying, right, We got the Savinho one's going to be the problem. We got Eze in the bag. That's 95%. I've never seen journalists come out and start giving us percentage of what the deal is. We've had Fabrizio Romano come out saying we've got a 95% agreement and that he wants to play one last game in a Conference League qualifier, whatever it is. And then next thing you know, Savinho is the one we are still looking for, and Eze's gone to Arsenal. So I wasn't expecting it. I actually did think we had that down. But I guess after that massive list you've just read off, I probably should have expected it more and been more pessimistic. But
yeah, exactly that. And sticking with you, Aaron, does it frustrate you? And Harry mentioned it here, that Havertz gets injured Sunday, Arsenal pretty much sign a replacement instantly. Within 3 or 4 days of him initially going down and potentially being injured, but within just hours, as again Harry says, that of him being officially out for quite a while, and Spurs still haven't signed that Maddison replacement. He done his ACL over a month ago. Does that frustrate you?
yeah, because we've seen Havertz get injured, yeah? And then next thing you know, everyone's posting on X, they're making jokes about, I wonder if they're going to need a replacement for that. And then you get it an hour later, you're getting it officially confirmed. Of course, it's really frustrating. But that I do expect slow movement in the market and slow reactionary movements is something I do expect. So that one wasn't as much of a shock, but you could see it coming from a mile as well as soon as he went down.
Absolutely, thank you. And Harry, coming back to you, is it looking back now? And obviously, don't like to do that too much because he's pretty much going to be an Arsenal player, isn't he? But do you think Spurs maybe should have acted quicker and got the deal done earlier? Should we have come in with a different when Arsenal come back into this race, which they did? We initially had that report from David Alstein. Do you think Tottenham should have matched Arsenal's bid or total package and gone higher? What more could have Tottenham done for you?
I think as soon as Arsenal come in the race, I think it was over. Because it's always been said this whole time, if Arsenal were to come in for him, that was his dream move. So, yeah, it's as frustrating as it is. It's like when they come in for him, there's nothing more we could have done. Although I wish there was something we could have done because we could have had the player. But yeah, we should have moved way quicker. We should have had this deal done weeks ago. But I was like the whole saga of it was just dragged on and on. Like the journalists are putting out basically the same thing, but just different wording every day. And you're thinking, what's it? I get the notification on Twitter. I'm thinking, bloody hell, we're gonna get the deal done. And then same thing. I'm like, let's give it a rest. But then you go back to like the players we've had as well. Like it'll probably be the same with this deal as well. We'll always end up with second best. We'll end up with someone who's probably not as good as Eze. We had the same thing when we went in for Bruno Fernandes. We ended up with Jedson. And he's probably one of the worst players I've ever seen. But then, yeah, we're probably going to end up with someone who's nowhere near as good. Like, obviously, we've been linked with Rodgers. I'd take that any day, but that's not going to happen. So, yeah.
No, exactly that. No, it's incredibly frustrating. Can I come to you next? What do you think this means next, in terms of potential targets? Where does Tottenham go from here?
The only way that we're going to come anywhere close to getting the same reaction from the fans and what we needed is for Rodgers. He's the only one that comes anywhere near to Eze out of this target list. Everyone will be fuming if we go for Dibbling. Everyone's going to be fuming. Like another young, like you've gone from Eze, Rodgers, all these names, and you go and get Dibbling, who's a young prospect again, and we go back to the same problem everyone was talking about and that we thought we moved on from at the start of this window. We were going for these Gibbs White, Eze moves, Kudus moves. We thought we moved on from the young players gimmick, but that would just send us straight back to last resort almost. So the only way that it's forgivable is for a Rodgers one, and that seems incredibly unlikely. So I think he has dug himself in a massive hole. Whoever's fault it was that this wasn't done quick enough, or as Harry said, it's probably as soon as Arsenal came in, he wanted to play for them anyway. So we're probably doomed from the get go. So if that's still our fault for entertaining a deal, we knew we weren't gonna win. It's a waste of time. So I think it'd be very, very hard to come back from this now.
Yeah, I agree with you. Harry, what do you think in terms of replacements? Is there anyone that you want to go for? Let's put Eze to a side. Are there any names that you want us to move on to next? Because we have to look at other targets now. Because I think we could all agree, sitting on this panel and everyone listening, that we do really need a number 10.
Yeah, Rodgers, I think, is the only one that sort of would... Like, Eze, every single person in the fan base would have taken. And if they wouldn't have, they would have been stupid. So I think Rodgers as well is sort of another one where it's kind of like everyone can sort of like agree that he's a very good player. We've been linked with Nico Paz, I think his name is, from Como. I don't really know too much about him, but then that's another sort of scenario of signing kids. Although he's older than me, but it's signing youngsters who no one really knows much about. I've heard he's a decent player, but I don't know. I think winning that Europa League, we needed to have a very good window. Like Polina and Kudus, I think are very good signings, but then I think we need that one more, like top player that like Eze would have been, Rodgers would be, but that's not going to happen. So yeah, I don't really know who else is in the market because the two we've gone for, Eze and Gibbs White, we all know what's happening with them. So I don't really know who there is left.
Exactly. We've made 2 targets, failed to get them over the line in Gibbs White and Eze, which leads me perfectly on to my next question, staying with you, Harry. Does Frank almost deserve an apology, maybe even publicly, from leaving the Tottenham board? Because, Gibbs White failed pursuit, Eze failed pursuit, and now we're left with 11, 12 days left of the window, I think it's 12 today, with probably Tottenham needing number 10, probably needing a left winger, probably needing full-back cover, centre-back cover. There's a lot of positions that you could argue. I mean, depends on how we feel individually as fans, but definitely we, scrambling around and we need more. Does Frank deserve better than what he's been given so far?
Yeah, he definitely deserves an apology, and that apology should be a top player. I'd rather they speak in actions rather than just go, sorry, mate. I'd rather them actually go out and sign someone. And as well, I think he also deserves an apology from where he's been saying, they've all been working really hard behind the scenes. Because I don't think they've clearly not worked hard enough that they haven't got the deal done in all this time. You've got to think, 3 weeks, we still haven't had that done. They haven't worked hard enough in them 3 weeks. If the Arsenal board or whoever it is that's done their business can get it done in 2-3 hours. So, yeah, he deserves an apology on a lot of fronts, I think. I think he's been falsely led by being led to believe that they've worked hard on the deal, because I don't think they've worked hard enough.
No, I totally agree with you. If people listen to the podcast, they know that very rarely I give my opinion, but I'm going to on this because this just really frustrates me. I apologise if I go on a bit of a tangent, but I haven't recorded my video on Eze yet, so that's what I'm going to blame it down to. But I just think it's incredibly frustrating, right? You have a chairman who has probably the best intentions and sits here going, we want to win the Premier League and Champions League. But at the same time, we're acting in a snail for a top player like Eze. And Gibbs White, okay, it's a bit different. I don't like the way the Forest acted, and maybe you can't put too much blame on leaving Tottenham. I think that's fair to say. They do get their fair share of critics. But with Eze, for me, it's totally on Tottenham. For me, as soon as I found out that Havertz was injured, maybe it's just me. The first thing I said on X, the first thought was, Arsenal going to need attacking depth. And I was like, okay, Havertz not a striker, but they're going to want. They're just surely to be safe. Would you just think, let's pay more and get it done? It's a case of just add-ons and things like that, and I just find it frustrating. League sits here, want to win the Premier League and Champions League, but at the same time, and this is E-League, by the way, we don't pay the wages, so we can't attract the top players, we can't retain the top players. That's the problem you have, and we wonder why. We're also never in the conversation for top names as well. Why is it that whether it be Benjamin Sesko, Shugo STK, Florian Wirtz, all these type of calibre of players, even Brian Burma, you could say, why then is Tottenham never in this conversation? I thought we sold the dream with the new stadium, but hey ho, I won't go on too much of one. I think it's incredibly frustrating. But the question I will say to other, flip of the coin, I suppose, Aaron, I'll ask you this: is it important maybe to remember that we don't know all the ins and outs, we're purely relying on reports, and they've been wrong before. Look at the Gibbs White situation, how that turned out. Is it important to bear that in mind maybe before jumping down the throats of the board?
Well, yeah, if you look at it from a cool heads perspective, and just get all the emotion out of it for a second, you've got to remember all these reports we are seeing. We're not meant to be seeing that. It's not public information. So all the reports coming out, we don't know what stages that they've entered that deal at. We don't know when Arsenal did come in. We don't know how long. We're getting half the story. So I guess from that perspective, you can say that we're only getting half the story, and that we can't put all the blame down. But at the same time, there's a common denominator, and it's the same thing every window. It's the same problems. We sit here and talk about the same issues all the time. So you can't put that down to constant. We can't put that down to not knowing the whole story, because it happens all the time. So it's got to be someone on the board's fault leaving, and that's all you can say at this point.
Exactly that. I mean, all that positivity of first game of the season and getting off to a good start, it feels like it's crashing back down with something like this. It's not necessarily the player, is it, Harry? Maybe, as much as you say, Eze is fantastic signing. I totally agree with you, and I really want Eze. And we can maybe just about get past that. But it's just the fact that this is a familiar feeling, a familiar situation where other clubs are a little bit more ambitious than us.
Yeah, it is very frustrating because, like Eze, it's very rare that we sign players that are at the top of their game at the point that we sign them, and it's like Eze he would have been a dream. Yeah, I'm still gutted. I'm so annoyed still about it, but yeah, we never sign players when they're sort of in their prime or like Eze. He would have shone in our team. He would have.
Yeah.
He would have looked so much better in our team than he would in Arsenal's team because they play such like a rigid kind of way. Whereas he'd be given the freedom to play in our sort of system. But yeah, it's very frustrating, especially having Kudus on the wing as well. Obviously, linked with Savinho, but I can't see that happening either. I don't even know how to word it, to be fair. It's so frustrating.
It is. Would you say the pressure, though, Harry, is now on Mikel Arteta to deliver that trophy? Because look at the amount of money they've spent on Arsenal this window.
Yeah, I think most Arsenal fans, well, most of the Arsenal fans I've spoken to, have said if he doesn't kind of win something this year, he's got. I don't know necessarily about go, but he's sort of got to have a bit of a kick to kind of say, "Come on, mate!" Like, because you got to think the money they've spent. I saw something earlier saying apparently after this Eze deal, they've spent the most in the whole league. So they spent more than Liverpool, more than City. Well, obviously, not more than Liverpool if they get Isak, but yeah, they're under a lot of pressure. I think this season because I don't know, because a lot of how we've been is you want to play a nice brand, whereas they're kind of going down the route of we don't really care how you play, but you've got to win something. But they're not winning anything, so yeah, I think Arteta's under a lot of pressure.
Absolutely. But again, it just goes back to I think big teams get the deal done. It's different if Eze's not 100% sure about joining Tottenham and, Frank's not 100% sure about winning. And of course, we don't know that. I just think it's a case of, again, just a more ambitious offer from Arsenal. But, Aaron, you can't really blame Crystal Palace, can you, for wanting to hold out for as much as they possibly can get for Eberechi Eze. And you can't blame Eze for maybe keep playing for Palace, can you? And you can't blame Palace for wanting a replacement before they agreed to the deal.
Yeah, you can't blame Eze. It's a professional thing to do. I think a lot of people that's the way they'd want their player to act if someone was leaving us or if someone was joining us. That's the type of character you want. And then you can't blame Palace for wanting to hold out. They're well within their right to hold out. It's their star player. They're well within their right to want the replacement. And they're well within their right to hold out for as much money as they're going to get or the most favourable terms they're going to get. And so Eze leaves on the best terms possible. That's their right. That's their right to do. So I don't blame them for anything. The only person we can blame is the board for not acting quick enough or acting in the wrong way or not being fully aware of the situation and wasting their time. That's all we can look at from our perspective.
Indeed. I mean, an all familiar feeling for the board going after secondary, third, fourth, fifth choice targets. I mean, it feels like a similar situation with managers and players. But have either of you got anything to say about Eze before we move on?
Well, other than how frustrated I am, to be fair, thing is, he would have. I'm just keep thinking about how well he'd do in our team, and it's just so frustrating. But it's like you go earlier about that list of players that we should have had. Like, thing is, like the fact we won that Europa League as well. I think I said this earlier, but the fact we won that Europa League, we needed to have a good window, and we needed to sign a marquee player. And Eze, he would have been a dream, but yeah, I think I've said all I need to say on that.
No, you're absolutely fine. I know that a lot of fans are still frustrated about it, and obviously Twitter, social media blew up, and I get it. I think there's a lot of overreaction on there generally, but I do get it with this. It's so frustrating. It's just a case. It's a familiar story. It's not a one-off, and I do totally agree with you. But hey, I just have this picture in my head of Eze and Kudus in the same team and us winning trophies, but not meant to be. It's frustrating as well for Thomas Frank, I'm sure. But Harry, last question before we do move on, you made me think about it. Do you agree with me that maybe it's the case of the players we brought in, and I'm thinking about Palhinha here and Kudus in particular, those two, that they're actually good signings. What we've done is good, but we haven't done enough. So we need to go further and we need to go faster. That's the problem
Yeah,
here.
we do need to, get a move on. But Yeah, I'm liking the fact that we've got Kudus and obviously Eze as well. That sort of counter-attacking football, what we saw with Thomas Frank at Brentford, it would have been perfect for how we wanted to play. But sorry, another thing I wanted to say about the Eze deal is how insulting to Richarlison that we was going to chuck him in the deal. After that match, after that game that he had against Burnley, out of all the players you could have chucked in, why put him in? He's obviously shown a lot of promise under Frank, and he's my favourite player, so I'm very passionate about this. But how can you put him in? He's finally showing what we wanted from him. Finally, sort of showing the Everton side of him, what we wanted, and then, oh no, you know what, mate, you can go now. Just because what I think happened with that is we panicked. We knew that Arsenal were going to come in for him. A couple of hours later, and we was like, oh no, what do you need? What do you need? And sort of just panicked and went, all right, here. So in that aspect, they kind of thought, because the board will know. Well, they would have known as soon as if they don't get that deal over the line, they're going to be under a lot of flack, and they're now going to be getting that. So they've got what's coming from, I suppose.
Exactly, I'm not being funny, but it's different for talking 80, 90 million. I get it a little bit more. Like the Man United situation with Mbamo, he dragged on for so long, and people are like, come on, United, what are you doing? That's a lot of money as well. There's a lot more, including add-ons, and there's a lot more wage, for example, than someone like Eze would have been. It's just an ultimately bigger deal. So I get that, like, drags on. They were lucky that no one else is in the race. But no, I totally agree with you. I think you're spot on, and I think that probably was Tottenham panicking with Richarlison. But I think we just put two and two together, probably the Tottenham hierarchy and the recruitment team, and saw that Nketiah's got injured and Palace need a replacement striker. Maybe not the stupidest idea, but it is in terms of we wouldn't have probably gone and got Wissa. That's the thing, we would have been left with 12 days to go, probably less than that, scrambling to find a striker. So we've got our 10, but we're now scrambling to find a striker. That's just on Tottenham. We fix one problem and create a dent in the other. But hey ho, let's move on to Sevilla next. Could be the next Tottenham signing, could it be the next verbal agreement we reached and it doesn't happen? Who knows? But I'm not going to read out the latest news because it's just ever evolving. It's very hard to keep up with. Different sources saying different things. If you gather it all together, it appears that someone within Man City, not Pep himself, have blocked this move, and Tottenham aren't willing to pay what Sevilla's wants. Man City want for Sevilla, should I say? But it still hasn't been shut down. It still could go ahead. I think maybe it'll be a bigger push now as it hasn't got done. It shouldn't be one or the other. It should be both. Do you agree with that, Aaron? It definitely shouldn't be Eze or Sevilla. It should have been both, really, considering we finished 17th in the Premier League last season.
But it should have been both, and then that's what I was saying earlier. For the whole time, I thought it was going to be Eze and not Savinho, and now we flipped it on its lid. But now I think it's going to be none of them. If we can't get the Eze deal over, I don't think we're going to get the Savinho one done. I can't see it happening. Lost all optimism I've ever had towards what we can possibly do. The only realistic option I can see is us going in for Dibbling and just calling it a day. That's literally the only possible realistic option that I can see happening, and it's the worst one. It's the bottom of the barrel. I feel bad for Dibbling, because if he did join, he'd get all the stick and he'd get the brunt of it. I'm sure he'd be a great player in the future, but once again, it's going back to the old signings that we used to make, the young, not proven talent that no one wants to see anymore. We got enough of it. We need the action now. So it definitely should have been both, and now I'm afraid it's probably going to be none of them.
Exactly that. No, I'm not surprised you don't feel confident the deal will get done. Even this, how long is it to be dragged on? Another team will come in, probably get it done. Might be Arsenal. Be careful. You never know. You might get Martinelli. Watch out. But Harry, do you think we'll miss out on Sevilla too? I think that's a general feeling now among the fan base.
Yeah, after that Eze thing, I'm not confident that we can get big deals done. I'm not confident that we can get these deals done for the top players, especially from other Premier League clubs like Man City or Palace. Because why would they want to sell to us? The only reason I think City would want to get rid of Savinho to us is to fund Rodrigo. But yeah, like what Aaron said about Dibbling, I feel bad for him because he is a decent player, but he's not ready now to go to a team in the Champions League. He'd be decent for. He's been linked with Everton. He's an Everton type player. Like, no disrespect to Everton, I do like Everton, but he's that kind of level. He wouldn't be good enough, considering we've been linked with Eze, one of the best players in the league, Savinho, and yeah, we can't go for someone that's just got relegated, one of the worst Premier League team I've ever seen. So yeah, we need to get someone very good, whether it be Savinho, obviously not Eze now, but yeah, whether it be Savinho, Rodgers, or one of these players. But yeah, they need to step it up and get a big player over the line. I'd love Savinho though.
Harry, can you see Villa letting Rodgers go? Obviously, letting Ramsey go to Newcastle. That's done and announced. Can you see them also letting Rodgers go with no replacement?
Nah, I can't see it happening. But it'd be a dream if it did. Yeah, I can't see him getting rid of him. I don't know why they would. So the thing is, I wouldn't see why Villa would sell to us. That's why I was very surprised that they sold to Newcastle, because you kind of look at we'd be in and around the same sort of place in the table. Why would they want to sell to a team they're kind of going to be competing with? So, like for example, if we sold one of our players to Villa, Newcastle, or someone else who I can see being around us in the league, Man United or someone like that, I wouldn't be happy with us selling to them and strengthening them, especially getting rid of one of our best players like Rodgers is for them. So yeah, I can't see that happening. And if it did, it'll be an extortionate price, of which Levy and Co wouldn't pay.
Aaron, what do you think? Do you agree with Harry? Do you think that it's kind of would be a great signing, but unlikely to happen?
Yeah, it would be amazing. It would be ideal, but there's no chance that they're going to let him go. And he's not the type of person to push a move out. So because of those factors, it's physically impossible. We're not even going to get Savinho done. So I don't even know why we're even considering that Rodgers even a possibility. I think that's just all media PR run because we missed out on Eze. They're just trying to hop on the trending topic of who we could go for in that position. They've just chucked out a bunch of names. I don't think that's realistic at all.
No, fair enough. And Aaron, I'll stick with you if you don't mind. And we shouldn't be in this situation, but we probably are. And I'm hoping it is just a hypothetical. But if you could just choose one and one only, would you rather sign a left winger on number 10 this summer? Of course, you should be signing both.
Oh, right. So I think I prefer the number 10 because I think that we got options on the left. We got Odobert and Tell who can grow into that position as two players that are already there. And I know we need it now, but I think we can deal without that left wing spot more than we can deal without the 10. Because without that 10, you're not linking the defence to the attack and it's just going to completely break down. Like we've got Kudus, who's very capable, and we've got Richarlison and Solanke, who are more than capable. We've seen. So without that connection from quite a defensive midfield, we're going to have to play to those two. I don't think there's a chance. So I'd rather have that 10 position locked down than the left wing.
Okay, thank you, Aaron. Harry, do you agree with Aaron? And what are your kind of thoughts on what we need more out of those two positions?
Yeah, I agree. I think we need a number 10. If you'd asked me at the start of the window before Maddison got injured, I would have said a winger. But now I think without Maddison, without Kulusevski, I think we need that number 10 in there. Because when we play against the big teams, we're gonna notice that hole. We're gonna notice that we haven't got that player in there. Because in certain games, that's the position that can kind of drag you out if you need a goal. We can make things tick. Like we had that with Eriksen and we had that with Dele Alli. That they would make something out of nothing, which Eze would have been brilliant at, but don't want to keep talking about him. Yeah, we need a number 10. We need that player you can sort of give the ball to, make a bit of magic happen, and he can find a corner, have a shot from edge of the box with all defenders in the way, and he'll find a way to make it go in. So yeah, I don't know. We need that number 10 because. Yeah, we need that player who can, make something out of nothing.
No, I agree with you. Thank you, Harry. I mean, for me, I think some of the best 10s out there, you've got Eze, failed pursuit. Morgan Giftwork, failed pursuit. I'd argue James Maddison on his day, when he's, at his best, which isn't enough, he's not consistent enough, he's probably up there, but of course he's a player, but he's injured. And you've got, probably Bruno Fernandes. Anyone else that either of you two boys think that top 10s right now in the Premier League? I'm not saying that we necessarily go for them or should go for them. But is there anyone that I've maybe missed? There isn't
Cole Palmer. He's probably another one that can do that. See that?
Yeah.
Obviously Rodgers.
Yeah, Rodgers. Yeah,
Rodgers would be a market. But that's the thing, it's quite a small market for number 10s anyway, in terms of a lot of people looking for 10s, and a lot of them have already been taken, as we've found out in recent weeks and days. So we just need to get on with it and hopefully get who we want into the door. But I want to speak about the rest of the window now, because I think we all agree that there's work to be done. So Aaron, I'll start with you. how many players would you say that we need to sign? We want to sign 4 or 5 players ideally, but what do we actually need to sign that we could probably get away with as a minimum?
Right, so we need a 10. That has to happen. If there was going to be one more signing for the rest of the window, it has to be that 10. And then the next priority has to be the left wing. And then I think if you can suitably fill those 2 positions, we're looking all right, depending on the personnel we get through the door. Obviously, the talks about another centre half. I don't think that's as a priority. We can probably get away without that if we had to sacrifice a position to get those 2 other positions that I mentioned. We could probably get away without that centre back until January. But yeah, that number 10 and that left wing spot, if that's not filled, I think we're in for a very, very long season.
No, I agree with that. I think that's very fair and very reasonable. Not asking for too much either. Harry, what is seen as you, in your opinion, as essential for the rest of these window?
Yeah, like Aaron said, a number 10 and a left winger. I think we need them 2 spots. Obviously, number 10 we spoke about a lot, and yeah, that shows how key it is that we need to get one in, especially when we've been sold a dream of getting these 2 players. Left winger, that'll go down nicely as well. But yeah, number 10 if we could only get one. But then I do also think we could do with some left back cover because obviously we've got Porro who right back. You've got your doggy left back and you've got Spence that can play both. Say, for example, Porro gets injured, Spence is going to be filling in at right back. And if we have an injury crisis like we did last season, are we going to put a left back if that happens again? You might have to put Archie Gray there, but yeah, I think we could really do with another left back, sort of a young left back who can sort of try and push your doggy a bit as well. But yeah, like I said earlier, number 10 is a very crucial position what we need.
Alright, can I pick up your point about fullbacks? I totally agree with you because we had Fred come out and say that he's happy with Davies and basically he's happy with the fullbacks. Because looking at it, we've got 4. In my opinion, that'd be fine if we weren't in the Champions League. Just having those 4 is fine. I think we should have 4 top fullbacks because I see a Doggy, Porro, and Spence all in their own way as top fullbacks. To be honest with you, I think we need 4, and Davies as that 5th. We get an injury crisis for experience, help people settle in. Would that be fair to say? It doesn't have to be as much as I want Anthony Robertson, it doesn't have to be a top, kind of left back or full back. We just want someone that maybe can do the job. Is it harsh as well, to add another question, to say that Davies maybe can't play that left back role in this day and age? Obviously, football's played very quickly and I think he's struggled to play left back.
For example, though, if we come up against PSG again and you've got Ben Davies at left back, Doué is going to absolutely run rings around him. And I like Davies, obviously. He's been a great servant for the club for 10 years. Well, 11 years, I think it is now. But, yeah, he's been a good servant to the club, but he's not got the legs anymore. How old is he? About 33? I don't know. I do think we need definitely a new left back. But, yeah, Davies, he's always got a job at the club because you can tell he's good for the dressing room. The managers all seem to like him. Every single manager that's been at the club has not said a bad word about him. So yeah, I do think he's a key part, and obviously Frank said that he's going to put him in the leadership group. So he's got a role there, but I don't know. I don't think he can be playing as much because for example, as well with his age, he'll probably end up getting injured at some point. You know what I mean? So we do need to. Yeah, I do think we need left back cover, and as well, because your doggy might get a bit complacent in that position as well. You kind of want someone that's going to push him and say, don't get your act together. Got someone else that can take your spot, but your doggy is a very good player, so I hope that don't happen.
No, exactly. Hopefully not. I'm going to come back to your point in terms of where you said the priority should be, and the point I want to pick up in particular is you say that if you had to sacrifice one, it would be centre back, and I totally agree with you. And I've been banging that drum for a long while. Why are we focusing on the improving the attack, then worry about the defence? But then I thought about it the other day, and I thought Draxler's injured for still quite a long time. We don't know when he's necessarily going to be back, and that leaves us with could be missing someone here, but Danso and Vuskovic as backups. Again, apologies if I am missing someone because Phillips and Dorothy have gone on loan. Does it maybe concern you a little bit, given the injury record of Van der Ven and Romero, just purely to play devil's advocate? I agree with you that it shouldn't be a priority position, but is that maybe important to bear in mind?
Yeah. Do we not have Kota as well?
He's injured, I think, at the moment.
Is that a long injury then?
I'm not sure, but I know he's injured at the moment. But again, as you say, it depends, doesn't it? If Drags is back in a couple of weeks as well, we might not need a centre back.
So on those conditions, if those injuries aren't too bad, I think we will be fine. It's good cover, and obviously we've seen Archie play there for a whole season, so he can fill in there as well. Obviously, we don't want to have to be doing that, but if it is really bottom, then it's the option. But I think definitely that I'll stay firm on that. That we definitely, if we're going to sacrifice one, that definitely has to be. And I'd put that left back cover above needing a centre half as well. So if I was going to say the three, I'd say left wing 10, then the fullback. Yeah.
Aaron, do you think some of it in terms of the fullbacks, again, although I agree with you, do you think it depends on maybe where they see Jed Spence? Because they could just see him, couldn't they, as a player capable of playing both. They might see him as he's better left back or better right back. Does that depend on whether we go for a left back or right back?
I honestly think that they see him as a left back at this point. Every time he's played left back, he's played a lot better than at right back. So I don't know when the conversations are going to start that we start looking for a backup to Porro on the right hand side. I don't know if the markets. I haven't seen any right back market because it's all been talk about the left back. But if we got better options at right back, maybe this is a January thing. Get a bit of planning going between now and January, and then just strengthen those not vital positions, but just that would be like quality of life, if you get what I mean. That aren't vital, but still would help the squad out. But yeah, I think if you sign a left back or a right back, and then that will decide where Jed's main starting position will be. But I think Spencer's already pushing Udogie for the starting spot this year, and I think that's good competition. I don't think he's shown on the right that he can push for Porro's spot. Porro's always been better on the right, so probably thinking about it now, you need someone that can push Porro on more.
Okay, thank you. Before we move on to a little bit on the leadership group and Manchester City, I want to ask you both to rate the transfer window out of 10. Aaron, we'll start with you, give you less time to repair on this, so apologies. You've been on the channel a lot recently, so you know that we do this quite a bit during the transfer window. What would you rate it out of 10? Now, if the transfer window closed tonight and we'd done nothing else, I mean, it wouldn't go down well, would it?
Yeah, it's very poor. Kudus is the only shining light from this. So basically, Kudus is holding up. Oh, and Polinia. So those two have to pull the whole score here. So I don't know, 5, because I mean they are definitely going to improve us, but once again, that's not enough. So I think I'm being generous. But I'm really really excited about Kudus. So that's put me up to a 5.
Okay, that's fair. Thank you, Aaron. I mean, I just think that a lot of people even see 5 as generous. I think that's totally fair of you. Harry, what would yours be?
Somewhere between a 3 and a 4, because I think it's as well. I think what marks it down as well is that we've got so excited thinking we're going to sign these top players. So yeah, I can't see how we can end the window without having a number 10. Obviously, Kudus actually can play there, I suppose, but you know, then we're back to having Johnson and say Odegaard or whoever. Because as well, we have got to remember that Son's left, so we've got to sign a Son replacement. We've got to sign, you know, we've got to have someone that can actually take that spot. And I don't think Tell or Odegaard are good enough to fill his shoes. So you know, we've got rid of probably our biggest legend, well, in my lifetime anyway, and yeah, we've got no one to really to replace him because yeah, none of the wingers we've got now are nowhere near being good enough to, you know, fill his boots. And then obviously on to Kai as well. I don't really know too much about him, to be fair, but apparently he might be decent. You never know. And then Polinia. I think Polinia's a decent signing. I said at the start of the window, I think we need number 6, and we've got that. But yeah, as well, Kudus, I think he could be top. So that's where some score comes from. But then it also gets marked down that, you know, been let down a lot of times.
Fair enough, thank you. It'd be a lot easier, wouldn't it, if I just said, look, you rate our recruitment out of 10, because I think that what we've done and what we've signed has been very good. I'm very happy with Marlene, very happy with Kudus, but it's the fact that that's not enough. You know, it's okay if we, you know, bid a Liverpool and stormed the title last year, that's fine. But a good example is Liverpool, actually. I know I'm not saying we need to compete with them, but they stormed the title last year, and look what they're doing. You know, 300 million here, there, and could still sign Isaac and make that, 450 kind of million a year. And I'm not expecting us to spend that amount, but the point is the fact that Liverpool have stormed the title, but they're not taking an eye off the ball. They want to keep going and make sure they stay there. So they've showed ambition and spent. It's easy to get kind of complacent, but Hi-ho, let's get onto the leadership group then, because Harry, you brought it up, so I've added a little piece in now about the leadership group that I was contemplating to put in anyway, and that is predicting who's going to be in there. So we don't know yet. He's mentioned in the about Ben Davies. We know Romero's the captain. So Harry, is there anyone firstly that you want to see in the leadership group?
I'd say, well, obviously Romero's the captain. Davis is in. Maddison will be in when he's back from his injury. He'll still be in and around the training. I'd say Vicario should be in there because I think he's very commanding. And then I don't know really, which I think is quite bad. I think we need a few more leaders. I think Eze would have been in there because he seems like he can kind of lead a team, and I feel like a lot of the Palace players would have trusted him. Maybe Bentancur. He seems like quite a senior player, quite respected by the squad, and maybe Solanke. But I don't know. A lot of these people don't really strike me as actual leaders. So I do think we need to sign a few more, out and out leaders and who can kind of set an example.
Yeah, we certainly do. As you said, I hate to keep bringing it up, but Eze, would have been that one as you say. So proper frustrating. But Aaron, is there anyone maybe different that you want to see in there?
It's not different, but I think Vicario would probably be vice captain. I think that's probably what he's going to go for. And then I know he's only just been signed, but he might get Polinia in the group. He's probably one of the older players. He's got a head on his shoulders.
Yeah.
So that's the only differential from there, I think. But that's probably good for group wise. But obviously, you want leaders all over the pitch. You can't just stick to four players. So that's where the experience transfer targets have come from. We need experience, and obviously that doesn't always come with age. Like Frank said, it's also experience, how you've played and what level you've played at for how long. It's not just how long you've played the game for. So yeah, we definitely do need a few more leaders in there. But
I agree with you. Aaron, do you think the fact that Frank has said wait till the end of the month till the transfer window is closed before I announce the leadership group, is that him hinting that he wants us to sign players that are leaders, as Harry alluded to?
He probably, because he doesn't want to. I doubt he even knew where we're going to be at the end of this window by the end of it. Probably. So I guess he doesn't want to jump the gun, name the group, and then start sticking people back in it. So I think it's just better to wait to the end, choose the group then when everyone's there, and they might even ask for squad opinion on it. So maybe that might even be the reason why, if he doesn't want to leave it, I reckon he'll pick captain, vice captain, obviously, and then they might leave it up to the squad as well. Bit of input.
Okay, that's interesting. Thank you. We'll now move on to the Manchester City preview. Harry, can I kick it off with you? How are you feeling about this game?
If we hadn't played how we did against PSG, I would have been saying we're going to get absolutely battered. But then I do think that Frank has kind of shown that he can set up well against good teams. I think we'll play the back three again, like we did against PSG. I think we'll play a similar team to what we played in that match. I could see us nicking something there because we do seem to have quite a good record there. So I could see us, coming away with a point or even a win if we're lucky. But we have got to be on the ball because they look very good in their first game. So yeah, we've got to play well and we can't let anything slip. But yeah, I do think we could get something. I don't know if that's me being deluded or what, but I think we can come away with something.
Love it. Absolutely love the confidence. And Harry, sticking with you, do you think our record against Man City in recent years, and of course most of it is at home, does that give you more confidence, even though Frank's a different manager, it's a whole different situation?
Yeah. For some reason, I've seen a lot of videos of Man City fans talking, and they're not looking forward to this game at all. Especially it being an early kickoff as well, doesn't really play into their hands very well. As we all know, the early kickoff can cause a few upsets. My betting account will know that. But yeah, I think we could cause an upset here, and I hope we do.
Lovely, yeah, fingers crossed indeed. Absolutely, share that. Aaron, how do you feel about this game? Are you as confident as Harry is?
The only thing that's bringing confidence is those previous results. I think it will be probably copy and paste from PSG, bar one or two things, because I know Frank, he analyses every game, takes it game by game, and plays very different depending on who they're against. But I think that the basic principles will be the same as PSG, so it'll probably be quite a hard watch. I guess a lot of heart in mouth moments probably is what we're going to have to endure for that game. But if we can counter on the break, I'm not sure what he's going to do if he does go for the five back. I don't know if he's going to play Kudus where Sarr was against PSG 10, and then go for just Richarlison and Solanke. Because can you imagine Richarlison and Solanke hold up play up top rather than and then Kudus just behind him? I reckon that could be quite dangerous. So if we set out like that, I could see us putting up a good fight. It would be close. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Let's get on to predicted Tottenham lineup then. We'll get on to what you want to see and any changes from the predicted team. This is what we think Frank will go with, which is really interesting this year. I don't usually do predicted lineup or do preferable lineup, but Thomas Frank being the manager now makes it a lot more interesting, it's fair to say. So Harry, can I kick it off with you? Talk us through 1 to 11, your predicted Spurs lineup and your thoughts.
I think put Vicario in goal. I think that's a no-brainer, really. And then you've got, I think, Porro. I think he'll go with Spence still. I don't know if your doggy's back or not, but yeah, I think it'll be Porro and Spence as wing backs. Back three are Danzo, Romero, and Van der Ven. And then I think we'll go Polina and Sarr. And then I think you're right actually with Kudus, Richie, and Solanke. I think you're right with that. Because as well, you've got the energy of Tell on the bench and Odegaard. Because Tell will be willing to prove. He'll want to prove a point. He'll want to come on and show what he can do. And you've got Odegaard as well with the legs. He's rapid, isn't he? So yeah, I think that'll be the lineup. And as well, I think our bench is quite strong. I think we've got a few decent players. Obviously, Bergvall will be on the bench. Gray will be on the bench. Benton Kerr. So yeah. So I think I think we'll set up like that.
Okay, sounds good to me. I think that's a good formula. Aaron, what's your predicted Spurs starting 11 then?
I think I pretty much agree. So you got Vicario, Romero, Van der Ven, Danzo. It will be Spence as well. Dougie hasn't proven anything to him yet, so he'll have to prove off the bench if he wants to get that spot back. Porro, obviously. And then it will be Polina to sit deep. And then I think the only argument in the team would be between if it's going to be Bentancur or Sarr for this low block that I'm assuming we're going to play, and then Kudus, Richie, and Solanke, which I'm really excited to see Solanke and Richarlison play together, because I think the only thing that was the problem against PSG is Richarlison had the great hold-up play, and obviously Kudus played amazing that game, but you can tell that it being that centrally, he wasn't going to bring the absolute best out of him, so he couldn't really do much in terms of like individual moments. He was almost dropping back anyway to link it. So him playing that 10 role with those two up top, I think we look like such a better team when we are playing this back five than when we try to play more attacking on the front foot. When we're using these Conte-esque tactics, I think we look a lot better with the players that we have in. But yeah, so the only toss up for me would be Bentancur or Sarr. But I guess that's up to Frank, not my decision. So that's his problem.
Yeah, good problem to have. So, Aaron, to be clear, you think Frank will go back to that back five? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
100%.
Harry, do you think what would your formation be? Obviously, given your team.
I would actually play the team what I think he will play, because I think we've got to set up like that against them, and I'll be very happy if we did set up like that. As well with Sarr, I think every game I've seen Sarr play under Frank, he has looked very good. I've been impressed with him, and yeah, I'm looking forward to see more of him. To be fair, I'm a big fan of Sarr.
Yeah, I think he's done really well, hasn't he, so far in pre-season and to the start of the season as well against Burnley. Very, very impressive. Long may it continue. Credit to him. Aaron, is there anyone that you obviously in your predicted team, anyone that you necessarily want to see start, or you think it's really important they must start against City because they can hurt them that way?
Polina is going to be the key player in this. He's going to be the one that breaks up the play, stops City from being able to just walk all over us. it will be a constant nuisance. And making it hard. They're not going to get in the box very often. Let's put it that way. So they're going to constant long shot, probably a lot of goal kicks, which will play long. We ain't going to be messing about at the back because that would be suicide football in this case. So it would be those long balls, a lot of City long shots. So Polinia will be key to forcing that to happen, and they'll hopefully play into our hand.
Fingers crossed. Harry, who's key for you in this game for Spurs? Maybe in terms of hurting City, or as Aaron's really alluded to, stopping City as well.
Yeah.
I'm always going to say this, but Richie, I think he's going to, if he can sort of play how he played the other day, I will hope he can, because I think it's weird because I love it when he does well, because I just feel like I've proved a lot of people wrong. Because everyone when they go to me, who's your favourite player? I say Richie, and they're like, oh no. But I don't know. I love him. I think if he can sort of keep his form from the weekend just gone, I think he can cause them damage, especially if he plays with Solanke as well. Because I think them two as well, they'll be a nuisance. Both of them up there together will cause the defenders a lot of issues. And Sarr as well, as like I said earlier. I think Sarr, he made things tick for us, I think, against Burnley. He looked very good. So, yeah, I think he'll be a key player as well.
Okay, no, thank you both of you on that one. Let's move to Manchester City then. Where do we think the City could cause us the most problems? I'll stick with you, Harry. Any individuals that maybe you're worried about most?
I could name all 11, to be fair, because their team is an absolute joke. Cherky looks good. They've obviously got Haaland up front. Their team, I can name any player, and everyone will go, yeah, he's top. I hope Savinho doesn't cause us too many issues, but then I did see Sam apparently he's injured, so I don't know what's happening with that. Hopefully he's not. Well, for this game, hopefully he is. But yeah, any one of their players could cause us a lot of issues. There's no individuals I can say, because they've just got such a good team. It's unreal. That Reinders as well looks very good for them. Yeah, I could name anyone.
That's fair enough. Aaron, do you agree with Harry? I mean, I certainly do. It's hard to maybe pinpoint one.
Yeah, Cherky plays on the right, doesn't he? So if he plays on him and Spence will be a great battle to watch. So I'd probably pick him out just because I'm excited for that battle. But yeah, same as Harry, probably that whole team is gonna cause some issues, which is what I was saying before. It's probably about stopping them and minimalising how many chances they're allowed, because the chances they do get, I can't see him messing many of them up, and I see him taking a lot of them. So minimise the chances. I think that's got to be our chance here.
100%. And before we go into score predictions and scorers to finish, I'm going to ask you a question, and I just want what I call a quick fire question firstly. So just a yes or no, and then maybe we get to reasons after. And that is, would you take a draw from a Tottenham point of view in this game? It's yes or no. Aaron, can I start with you? Oh, you go no. Okay, I love that. Harry?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think I would. Because the thing is, like, because I don't really know how Frank will set up, I kind of think, get a point on the board, we'll still be unbeaten. These are the games where last season we wouldn't. Well, obviously we did last season, beat City, but we need to just get points on the board early. I would take a draw against City. And I know that's quite a bad kind of like a defeatist attitude a bit, but yeah, I'd take a draw.
I think I would at this stage of the season. If it was at home, I'd go, no, look, come on, I want to win this. But away from home, if we don't, well, we're not going to, are we, sign someone in time for that game? I just think what we've got compared to what they've got, maybe in terms of just general players, but in particular the transfer window, it can be very, very tough. But I like Aaron's kind of attitude. No, never take a draw, and I absolutely admire that. Aaron, would you like to justify your reason why you've not taken a draw against City?
Yeah, if I'm going to be forced to be pessimistic in a transfer market, I want to be optimistic on the pitch at least. Get some excitement back into being a Tottenham fan. But yeah, if you are thinking very logically, obviously, yeah, what Harry said, getting point on the board unbeaten, it'd probably be good. But at the end of the day, if you're beating City, that's Frank putting his foot down, saying, look, tactically, I'm what you want. I can compete with the best on our day when we got it, and then hopefully that might even be a bit more motivation to get some of these deals across the line that we need.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We'd hope so. Let's get on to score predictions then. I'm really interested to see this. Aaron, I'm hoping you can keep the positivity up on the pitch, as you say. So give us your score prediction and scorers in this game, please.
It will be 2-1 Tottenham. It will be Haaland will score a header, and then you'll get. I reckon Kudus will get his first, and Richarlison will continue his form.
Love it. I think that's got the Harry approval there. So you're going 2-1 Tottenham. Harry, what's your score prediction?
I was going to say 2-2. I think Haaland will score 2 for them, and I think Richie will score 1 for us. And then I can see us getting a goal from a corner, like a Romero header or Van de Ven, or But I don't know. I'll take a draw against them. Like, I'll take a draw as long as we play well. If you know what I mean. Like, as long as if we can put up a good fight against them and show that we've got something going, I'll take a draw. But then, whereas if we kind of scrape one up and don't look convincing that we're going to play well against big teams, then I might not so much. So, yeah.
If it was a PSG type draw, would you take that?
Not if we can see 2 in the last 5 minutes. Yeah. You're actually joking. The thing is, I filmed my video for that game, like the vlog of it, and I couldn't put it out. I couldn't watch it back. I was so gutted, and it's like, it was so gutting because I was like, when I watched myself back, I'm thinking, played really well, buzzing, and then going throw it away. So I wouldn't take conceding 2 in the last minute now.
Don't blame you. I don't think you're the only one with that one. But PSG is just so frustrating because then you lose track of the bigger picture with how well we played because you're so annoyed about the result and we're so close and it's so Tottenham-like to fall apart at the end. And it's like, oh, come on, man. We deserve that as well. We're outplayed, in my opinion, anyway, the best team in the world. It's like, come on, what's going on? But hey-ho. That's how that went. Score prediction, what mine? I've got to give mine. I was going to go 2-2. It would be different now. Harry's stolen mine. I'm going to go 1-1. I just can see it being a draw. I absolutely agree with both of you that Haaland will score for City, and I do think it will be Kudus. I'll share that with Aaron, that will get his first goal for Spurs. So there we go. No one predicting Spurs to lose against someone like Man City is quite impressive. But that kind of wraps up nicely for this episode of the Scarfey Spurs Podcast. I hope that everyone enjoyed listening. Hope you could hear me and could see me okay. I've had a Wi-Fi issues on the whole time, but hopefully getting it sorted now on the phone with a bit of 5G, as I said earlier. But let's go through the panel and see where you can find them across social media. Firstly, Aaron, thank you very much for your time this evening and for coming on. Where can people find you on the socials?
Yeah, so on X, that's my at there, THFC_AW. Once again, just rambling on that, opinions out there, getting into some debates, love it. It's hard to navigate that timeline right now, so maybe a break till the end of the transfer window. But yeah, thanks for having me on. Enjoyed it.
No, thank you. You're always welcome. You know that. Thank you very much for coming on. And Harry, absolutely the same to you. Always great to have you on. We need to get you on more for sure. Where can people find you on the socials, mate?
On YouTube, it's HC17, which it is here, which is like vlogs of the Spurs matches and that. And then TikTok, what I started the other day, is Harry Talks FPL, but I don't know why I called it that because I don't really talk about FPL, to be fair. I made it because I didn't want to give up with it. And I done quite well the first week, got 90 points, so I've done all right. But yeah, I just started TikTok, but yeah, thank you for having me on.
Lovely. No, I absolutely welcome as well. Thank you very much. You know who I am, guys. This, at Harry Scarfe 22 across all socials. Check both these amazing guys out across the socials. Like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. As I said, if you're listening on a podcast platform, please do drop a 5-star review and a follow. Thank you very much for listening all the way to the end if you made it. And, hopefully you enjoyed it. Maybe a little bit of a therapy session at times with the transfers. We'll get through it together and hopefully you can have a season to remember under Thomas Frank. But for now, a massive come on, you Spurs.
Come on, Spurs.